The drawer unlocked with a quiet click. Inside the mahogany desk, past the contracts worth millions and the legal
Want some?
documents that built
Sure,
empires,
thanks. Here
sat
you
a
go.
single glass
Thanks a
frame.
lot.
Inside that frame, a piece of faded red ribbon, barely 3 inches long, fraying at the edges, 22 years old. Elijah Carter stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows of his penthouse, 47 stories above Lake Michigan. The sunrise painted the water gold. He did not notice. He never did. His hand trembled slightly as he lifted the frame. Day 1827, 6 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. The city stretched below him, endless and indifferent. He touched the glass. Somewhere out there, if she still lived, Amara Hayes was waking up too, going to work, helping people, being the person she had always been, the person who saved him when the world looked away. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. He almost ignored it, almost, but something made him answer. The voice on the other end was female, professional, cold in the way expensive lawyers and calculated enemies sound cold. Mr. Carter, about your search for Amara Hayes, I need to speak with you, privately. His pulse quickened. Who is this? The line went dead. Elijah stared at the phone. 5 years of searching, 3 private investigators, hundreds of
Want
thousands
some?
of dollars spent,
Sure, thanks.
12 properties
Here you
purchased.
go. Thanks a lot.
And now someone calls from a blocked number, mentions her name, and hangs up. Someone knew. Someone knew he was looking. The question was whether they wanted to help or destroy him. He set the phone down and looked at the ribbon again. The girl who gave it to him had been 9 years old. Brown skin, braided hair tied with red ribbons. She had pushed a peanut butter and jelly sandwich through a chain-link fence and saved a dying boy's life. That boy had made her a promise. When I am rich, I am going to marry you. She had laughed. They were children, but he had meant every word. 22 years later, he was rich beyond measure, and the promise burned in his chest like an unpaid debt. The memory came unbidden, the way it always did. Winter in Chicago, 22 years ago. The fence at Lincoln Elementary School was chain link, 8 feet high, topped with nothing because children do not need razor wire to keep them in. They come willingly. They have parents who feed them, homes that are warm, adults who care if they live or die. Elijah Carter had none of those things. He sat on the frozen ground outside that fence, 10 years old, 2 weeks homeless. His mother had died in her sleep. No father,
Want some?
no relatives.
Sure, thanks.
Foster
Here
care
you go.
tried once.
Thanks a lot.
One family took him in, kept him 3 days, sent him back. Too difficult, they said. The truth was simpler. He cried at night, he wet the bed. He was a broken child, and broken things take effort to fix. So they put him back. He slipped through the cracks after that, ran before they could place him again. 2 weeks on the streets in December, temperature dropping to 15 degrees. No coat, no hat, no hope. By day 14, he could not walk straight. Dizziness from hunger. His lips cracked and bled. His fingers turned blue even when he shoved them in his armpits. He found the elementary school and sat outside during lunch recess. Watched the children eat. Watched them laugh. Watched them throw away half their sandwiches. He did not beg. He was too tired to beg. He just sat there and waited to freeze. A teacher noticed him. She walked over, irritation clear on her face. You need to leave. You are scaring the students. He tried to stand. His legs buckled. She walked away. That was when he saw her. A black girl with braided hair, maybe 9 years old, standing on the other side of the fence, watching him. Their eyes met. She did not look scared. She
Want
looked sad.
some? Sure,
Her friend
thanks.
called to her.
Here you go.
Amara,
Thanks
come
a
on.
lot.
But the girl did not move. Could not stop staring at the boy outside the fence. He was so thin, clothes torn, face hollow. He looked like he was dying, because he was. The girl looked at her lunchbox, her whole lunch, the only food until dinner. Her grandmother always said, "Baby, we may not have much, but we always share what we got." She walked to the fence. Her friend ran after her. "Where are you going?" The girl ignored her. Up close, the boy looked worse, eyes glassy, lips bleeding, shivering so hard his whole body shook. "Hi," she said softly. "I'm Amara. You look hungry." The boy tried to speak. Nothing came out. Amara pushed her lunchbox through the gap in the fence. "Take it. It is okay." The boy grabbed the sandwich and ate it in 4 bites. Tears streamed down his face. He ate the apple, drank the juice, even ate the crackers. When he finished, he looked at her. "Thank you." His voice was broken. "What is your name?" "Elijah." "Are you okay, Elijah?" He shook his head. "No." Amar's heart broke. "I will bring you lunch tomorrow, too." His eyes widened. "You will?" "I promise."
Want
The bell
some?
rang.
Sure,
Amara
thanks.
had to go,
Here you
but she
go.
looked back
Thanks a
3 times.
lot.
Elijah sat there clutching the empty juice box, watching her disappear into the school. She came back the next day, and the next, and the next. For 6 months, Amara Hayes fed Elijah Carter through that fence. Every school day, rain or shine, sickness or health. No one asked her to, no one thanked her. She just did it. Her family had nothing. Subsidized housing with peeling paint and broken radiators. Her grandmother raised her while her parents worked 3 jobs between them. Breakfast was oatmeal, lunch was school provided, dinner was rice and beans. They survived barely, but Amara gave her lunch away. By week 2, her grandmother noticed. Watched Amara pack 2 lunches, did not say anything, just put more food in her lunchbox. By week 3, the whole family knew. They worked extra hours, made more food, so their 9-year-old daughter could keep feeding a white boy through a fence. They never met him, never asked his name, never expected anything in return. They just did it because it was right. Week 5, other kids started teasing Amara, calling her weird, saying she was being stupid. Her friend Keisha tried to pull her away every day, but Amara kept coming. Week 8,
Want
winter
some?
came hard.
Sure,
Temperature
thanks.
dropped to 10
Here you
degrees.
go. Thanks a lot.
Elijah sat outside in a thin jacket, no hat, no gloves. His lips turned blue. That afternoon, Amara ran home, grabbed her winter coat, her father's gloves, a scarf, a blanket from her bed, brought them all back. "Here," she said, pushing them through the fence. "You need these, bus." Elijah shook his head. "You will be cold." "I have another coat at home." She did not. She shivered through recess in a thin sweater for 2 months. Got pneumonia, fever hit 101. Her grandmother was terrified, but Amara recovered and kept going to that fence. Week 16, Elijah got sick, coughing so hard he could not stand. Fever burning through him. Amara ran home crying, "Grandma, he is dying, please." Ruth Hayes looked at her granddaughter, looked at the medicine on the shelf. Medicine they needed. Medicine they were saving for Grandpa Joe, who had emphysema. Medicine they could not afford to replace. She made a choice. That night, Ruth Hayes went to the fence, brought soup, tea, medicine. For 2 weeks, she and Amara nursed a homeless white boy back to health through a chain-link barrier. Grandpa Joe died 3 weeks later. Not from lack of medicine. He was 84 and his lungs were
Want
done.
some?
But Ruth
Sure,
Hayes
thanks.
sometimes wondered
Here
if
you
she had
go.
made the right
Thanks
choice,
a lot.
trading an old man's comfort for a young boy's life. She never told anyone, not even Amara. Week 20, Elijah and Amara talked for hours. He asked questions, good questions, about her classes, her books, her dreams. She told him about wanting to help people, about becoming a social worker, about making sure no kid ever felt alone. "You are so smart," he would say. "Do not forget that." "You are smart too," she would refine. "No one ever said that before." Then they were not paying attention. Week 24, a teacher found Elijah a foster placement. His last day at the fence, Amara brought everything. 3 sandwiches, cookies, fruit, crackers, everything she could fit. She also brought her red ribbon, the one from her hair, the only nice thing she owned. She took it out, found scissors from her backpack, cut the ribbon in half. "I want you to have this," she said, tying one half around his wrist through the fence. "So you remember, someone cares." Elijah looked at the ribbon, looked at her, started crying. "When I am rich," he said through tears, "I am going to marry you." Amara laughed. "That is silly." But he
Want
grabbed
some?
the fence with both
Sure,
hands,
thanks.
looked
Here
at
you
her
go.
with an intensity
Thanks a
that
lot.
scared her a little. I'm not being silly, I promise. When I am rich and successful, I am coming back. I am going to marry you. I am going to take care of you, and I am going to help every kid like me. I promise." She saw he meant it. This boy, this starving, half-frozen, nearly dead boy. He meant every word. "Do not forget me, Elijah." Never. I will find you, no matter how long it takes. The bell rang. Amara had to go. She stood there, hand on the fence, looking at him. He pressed his hand against hers, metal between them. Then she turned and walked away. Elijah watched her until she disappeared. He tied the ribbon tighter around his wrist and whispered the promise again. I will come back. I will find you. I will keep my promise. The memory faded. Elijah stood in his penthouse holding the glass frame. The ribbon inside was the same one. He had never taken it off. Not for 22 years. It had survived everything. His years in foster care, 6 months living in his car after aging out. The brutal years building his company from nothing. Every board meeting, every deal, every victory and loss.
Want
The ribbon
some?
stayed
Sure,
because
thanks.
Amara Hayes had
Here you
seen
go.
him when no one
Thanks
else
a
would.
lot.
And that meant everything. His assistant called. Mr. Carter, board meeting in 30 minutes. I will be there. He locked the drawer, put on his suit jacket, straightened his tie. 32 years old, Chief Executive Officer of Carter Development Corporation. Net worth $47 million. 12 properties across South Chicago. Success by every measure, except the one that mattered. He had not found her yet. The board meeting was predictable. Quarterly earnings, $12 million in profit. Applause, handshakes. His business partner, Trevor Morrison, clapped him on the back. Another great quarter, Elijah. Thank you. But we need to talk about South Chicago. Here it comes, Elijah thought. Trevor pulled up a spreadsheet. 12 properties. $8 million spent over 5 years. Current return, $200,000. Net loss, $7.8 million. The board is getting nervous, Trevor said quietly. They do not understand why we are hemorrhaging money there. I have my reasons. I know you do, but Elijah, they are going to vote to shut it down soon. I can only hold them off so long. Before Elijah could respond, the conference room door opened. A woman walked
Want
in.
some?
35.
Sure, thanks.
Elegant.
Here you go.
Blonde hair
Thanks
pulled
a lot.
back. Expensive suit. Cold blue eyes that locked onto Elijah immediately. His stomach dropped. Everyone, Trevor said, standing. I would like to introduce our newest board member, Jessica Harmon. She represents our new investor group, 40% stake. Jessica smiled. It did not reach her eyes. Hello, Elijah. The room suddenly felt smaller. Elijah forced his face to stay neutral, professional. Jessica, I did not know you were joining the board. Surprise. She took a seat directly across from him. I hope that is not a problem. Of course not. Welcome. The meeting continued, but Elijah barely heard it. His mind raced. Jessica Harmon, his ex-fiancée, the woman he had left 3 years ago because he could not give her what she wanted. Commitment, presence, a future. He had chosen the search over her. You are obsessed with a ghost, she had screamed during their final fight. A girl from your past, someone you knew for 6 months when you were children. She saved my life. She gave you a sandwich. That does not mean you owe her your soul. But he did owe her, and Jessica never understood that. Now she sat across the boardroom table holding 40% of his company.
Want some?
Smiling
Sure,
like a
thanks.
predator who just
Here you
found
go.
wounded prey.
Thanks a lot.
After the meeting, she cornered him in the hallway. We need to talk, she said. About what? South Chicago, 12 properties, $8 million loss. What are you doing, Elijah? Investing in the community. You are looking for her. It was not a question. Still, after all these years, he said nothing. Jessica stepped closer. Her voice dropped. I tried to love you, tried to be enough, but I was competing with a memory, a 9-year-old girl who gave you food. It was more than food. Was it? Because from where I stand, you threw away a real relationship for a fantasy. If you are here to relitigate the bond, do not bother. Jessica smiled again, that cold smile. I am here because I own part of your company now, and I am going to make sure it is run properly. South Chicago is bleeding money. That ends. Soon. She walked away, heels clicking on marble. Elijah stood there, jaw clenched. Of all the people to join his board, of all the ways the universe could punish him. His phone buzzed. Community meeting tonight at 7, South Chicago Community Center. He usually sent representatives, but today felt different. After the mysterious call,
Want
after
some?
seeing Jessica,
Sure, thanks.
something told
Here
him
you
tonight
go.
mattered.
Thanks a lot.
He typed back, I will attend personally. Then he went to his office, opened his laptop, pulled up the file, the one he looked at every day. Search, Amara Hayes, 5 years of reports, 3 private investigators, 12 properties purchased strategically, all within a 2-mile radius of Lincoln Elementary School. His logic was simple. If Amara Hayes still lived in Chicago, she would be helping people. That was who she was. So he bought buildings, developed them, created reasons to be in the neighborhood constantly, hoping, waiting. A new report sat in his inbox from his current investigator. Found a lead, social worker named Amara Hayes, age 31, works at South Chicago Community Center. Background still unclear, sending photo. The photo loaded slowly, blurry, taken from a distance. A black woman with natural hair, professional clothes, the right age. Elijah stared at the image. His hands shook. It could be her. After 5 years, after 1,827 days, it could actually be her. He closed the laptop, looked at the ribbon in its frame.
Want some?
Tonight, he whispered.
Sure, thanks.
If you are
Here you
there, I
go.
will find
Thanks
you
a
tonight.
lot.
6:45 p.m. Elijah pulled up to the South Chicago Community Center in his Mercedes. The building was old, chipped paint, flickering lights, but clean, cared for. Inside, 50 folding chairs filled a multi-purpose room. Community members filed in, families, elderly couples, young activists. Elijah straightened his tie. His $3,000 suit felt wrong here. A woman at the registration table looked up. Her eyes widened slightly. Name? Elijah Carter. Carter Development. Her expression shifted, guarded. You are the developer. Yes. Most developers send lawyers. I am not most developers. She handed him a name tag. We will see. He found a seat in the back. Heads turned, whispers rippled. That is him, the millionaire. Probably here to bulldoze everything. Elijah ignored them, scanned faces, looking, always looking. An older black woman stood at the front. Eleanor Price, Community Board President. Welcome, everyone. Tonight we discuss the proposed development from Carter Development. Mr. Carter wants to build housing and renovate our center.
Want some?
Murmurs,
Sure,
some
thanks.
hopeful, most
Here you
skeptical.
go. Thanks a
We
lot.
have heard promises before, Eleanor continued. Developers come, make speeches, then we get priced out, displaced, our community destroyed. Louder murmurs, agreement. Mr. Carter will present his plans, then we ask questions, real questions. She looked directly at him. Mr. Carter. Elijah stood, walked to the front. 50 pairs of eyes tracked him, some curious, most hostile. He opened his presentation, architectural renderings, beautiful buildings, green spaces. Good evening, I am Elijah Carter. Before I tell you about buildings, I need to tell you about myself. He paused, looked at the faces, decided to be honest. I grew up not far from here. I know what broken promises look like. I lived them. That got attention. Skeptical attention, but attention. I am proposing 60% affordable housing, not luxury condos. 60% of units reserved for current residents at current rent rates. Surprise murmurs. We will fully renovate this community center. New heating, new roof, expanded services. My company will
Want
fund
some?
it.
Sure,
More
thanks.
murmurs, less
Here you
hostile
go.
now.
Thanks a lot.
Job training programs, local hiring, investment in people, not just buildings. He clicked to the next slide, met their eyes. I know you do not trust me yet. You should not. Trust is earned, but I am not here to gentrify. I am here to give back to a community that gave me something I can never repay. Hands shot up immediately. Eleanor pointed to a middle-aged black man, Marcus. Mr. Carter, what is affordable to a millionaire versus someone making minimum wage? Good question. Units will be priced based on area median income. We are working with the Housing Authority to ensure actual affordability, not just marketing spin. More hands. An elderly woman stood. What about current businesses? Every time someone develops, we lose our stores, our history. We are offering lease protections and relocation assistance. No current business will be forced out. If they want to stay, they stay. If they need to move temporarily during construction, we cover costs and guarantee return. A voice from the middle of the room cut through. Female, strong, skeptical. How do we know you will keep these properties?
Want some?
Developers always
Sure,
say the right
thanks.
things.
Here you
Then we
go.
get
Thanks a
gentrified
lot.
out. Elijah turned toward the voice. Time stopped. A woman stood, early 30s, black, natural hair, professional attire, notepad in hand. She continued speaking, but he could not hear the words. His heart hammered, his vision tunneled. The voice, something about her voice. I grew up in this neighborhood, she was saying. I have seen promises broken my whole life. So how do we know you are different? Their eyes met. Elijah could not breathe, could not speak. The room waited. She kept talking. I'm a social worker here. I work with homeless youth, foster kids. Your buildings mean nothing if our most vulnerable get displaced. He found his voice. Barely. You are absolutely right to be skeptical. Pause. Everyone watching his strange reaction. May I ask your name? She looked confused. Amara Hayes, Wesley. The room tilted. Elijah gripped the podium. Amara Hayes, after 5 years, after 12 properties, after 1,827 days, she was here, right here, 20 feet away, and she did not recognize him. Of course she did not.
Want some?
He had changed,
Sure, thanks.
filled out,
Here you go.
confident,
Thanks a lot.
rich. Not the skeletal 10-year-old boy she fed through a fence. Eleanor's voice cut through the fog. Mr. Carter, you okay? He blinked, forced focus. Yes, sorry, Amara Hayes, you said? She nodded, still confused. Yes, how do you know my name? His hands trembled. Not in front of 50 people, not like this, but he could not stop. Did you go to Lincoln Elementary? About 22 years ago? Her expression shifted. Confusion, suspicion, a hint of something else. Yes, how do you know that? The room went silent, sensing something was happening, something important. Elijah took a breath, let it out slow. Do you remember feeding a boy through the fence? A white boy, about 10 years old, every day for 6 months. Amara went completely still. Her notepad slipped from her hands. It hit the floor with a slap that echoed. The room vanished. 50 people faded to nothing. Just the two of them, separated by 20 feet and 22 years. She whispered, Elijah. Her hand went to her chest, to a locket hanging there. He nodded, could not speak, tears forming. Elijah
Want
Carter,
some?
her voice broke.
Sure, thanks.
It is you.
Here you go.
It
Thanks
is
a
me.
lot.
His voice cracked. I came back. Amara started crying, standing in the middle of the community center, hand over her mouth, tears streaming. The room erupted, people talking, confused, shocked. Eleanor stood. Let us take a 15-minute break. People filed out. Whispers, stares. But Elijah and Amara did not move. They stood frozen, looking at each other across the space. Then slowly they walked toward each other, met in the middle. You are alive, Amara breathed. I told you I would come back when I was rich. She laughed through tears. We were children. I meant it. They stood there, not touching yet, just looking. 22 years of searching, 22 years of wondering. And here she was, real. Mara reached for the locket at her chest, opened it with shaking hands. Inside, pressed between glass, a faded piece of red ribbon. Elijah pulled his keychain from his pocket. Attached to it, another piece of red ribbon. They held them up, side by side, perfect match. The ribbon she cut in half 22 years ago, separated for 2 decades, now reunited. Both started crying.
Want some?
They embraced,
Sure, thanks.
held each other
Here you
tight.
go. Thanks a lot.
Amara sobbed into his chest. Elijah wrapped his arms around her and cried into her hair. 22 years, 22 years. Eleanor cleared her throat gently. There is an office, more private. They nodded, still crying, still holding each other. The office was small, cluttered. A desk, 2 chairs. Eleanor closed the door behind them. They sat facing each other, could not stop staring. I cannot believe it, Amara whispered. I cannot believe you are real. I looked for you. 5 years. Private investigators. I bought 12 properties in this neighborhood just to be close, hoping I would find you. 12 properties? You bought 12 properties looking for me? You saved my life. How could I not? Amara put her face in her hands, shoulders shaking. I thought you were dead. After you left, I went back to that fence every day for a year. I asked everyone. No one knew where you went. I thought maybe you did not make it. I almost did not, if it was not for you. They sat in silence, the weight of 22 years pressing down. Tell me you remember, Elijah said quietly. Tell me I did not hold on
Want
to this
some?
alone.
Sure, thanks.
Amara looked up,
Here you
eyes
go.
red.
Thanks a lot.
I thought about you every single day, every foster kid I met. I wondered if you were okay, if you were safe, if you remembered me. I remembered everything, every word, every moment, every sandwich. Outside the office, they could hear people returning. The meeting would resume soon, but neither of them moved. Amara finally spoke. What do we do now? I do not know, but I am not losing you again. I am not going anywhere. Good, because we have 22 years to catch up on. She smiled, first real smile, and a community meeting to finish. Can we talk after? Please. Yes. They stood, straightened their clothes, wiped their tears. Elijah held out his hand. Together? Amara took it. Together. They walked back into the meeting room, hand in hand. 50 faces turned to watch. Elijah and Amara took their seats. Eleanor resumed the meeting, but Elijah barely heard anything. He sat there, Amara's hand in his, and felt complete for the first time in 22 years. Outside, sitting in a black Mercedes in the parking lot, Jessica Harmon watched through the community center windows. She
Want
saw
some?
them,
Sure,
holding
thanks.
hands,
Here you go.
crying,
Thanks a lot.
embracing. Her face hardened into something cold and sharp. She pulled out her phone, dialed. It is me. They found each other. The voice on the other end said something. No, let them be happy tonight. Let him think he won. Another pause. Because tomorrow we show him who Amara Hayes really is. Everyone has secrets, and hers will destroy him. She hung up, opened a folder on the passenger seat, manila, thick, tab read, Amara Hayes, background investigation. Jessica flipped through pages, police reports, financial records, court documents, photos. She smiled, no warmth, just satisfaction. You found your angel, Elijah, but angels fall, and when she does, you will finally understand. She started the car, pulled away from the community center. Behind her, through the lit windows, Elijah and Amara sat together, holding hands, smiling, happy, for now. Jessica drove into the Chicago night already planning her next move. The ribbon had brought them together, but secrets would tear them apart. She would make sure of that. The office door closed behind them. Just Elijah and Amara. 22 years dissolved in an instant. They sat across from each other at a small desk
Want some?
cluttered with social work
Sure,
files.
thanks.
Could not
Here you
stop
go.
staring.
Thanks a
Could
lot.
not stop touching the ribbons. Proof this was real. Tell me everything, Amar said, her voice still thick from crying. 22 years. Tell me what happened after you left. Elijah leaned back. The memories were not easy, but she deserved the truth. The foster family kept me for 4 years. They were not bad people, just distant. I was a paycheck. When I turned 18, they sat me down at breakfast, said, "Congratulations, you are an adult now," handed me $200 and drove me to a homeless shelter. Amara's hand covered her mouth. I lived in my car for 6 months. A 1997 Honda Civic with 200,000 miles. Worked day labor, construction, loading docks, anything that paid cash. At night, I would sit in that car and touch this ribbon. He pulled out the keychain, the faded red fabric. Every night I would say your name, Amara Hayes. I would tell myself she saw something in you. She believed you mattered. Do not prove her wrong. Tears fell down Amara's face. I did not know. I tried to find you. After you left, I went back to that fence every single day for a year. Asked teachers, asked anyone who might know, but foster kids disappear.
Want some?
The system
Sure,
swallows
thanks.
them.
Here you go.
I know.
Thanks a lot.
So how did you get from that car to this? She gestured vaguely, meaning the suit, the success, everything. Elijah smiled slightly. A man named Bill Thompson. He owned a construction company. Saw me working day labor. I was fast, careful, never complained. After 3 months, he pulled me aside. Said, "Kid, you are too smart for this. You going to college?" I said no. He asked why. I told him I lived in my car and had $216 to my name. He got quiet. Then he said, "You work for me full time. Real salary, I will pay for community college." He just offered that? He did. I said yes before he could change his mind. Amara shook her head, amazed. I worked for Bill for 6 years. Days on job sites, nights at community college, then university, business degree. Bill taught me everything. How construction works, how to read people, how to see value where others see problems. When he retired, he sold me the company, gave me a deal I could actually afford, told me to make something of it. And you did. I did. I renamed it Carter
Want some?
Development.
Sure,
Started
thanks.
small,
Here you
flipping
go.
houses,
Thanks a lot.
then apartment buildings, then commercial properties. I never forgot where I came from. Every deal, every decision, I thought about you, about what you taught me. What did I teach you? I was 9. Elijah leaned forward, intense. You taught me that kindness is not weakness, that one person can change everything, that how you treat people matters more than what you own. Silence. Heavy. Sacred. I need to tell you something, Elijah said quietly. 5 years ago, I started looking for you. Really looking. Hired private investigators. Spent hundreds of thousands. Found nothing. Then I realized something. If you were still in Chicago, you would be helping people. That is who you are. So I bought properties near Lincoln Elementary. 12 buildings within 2 miles. I developed them. Spent time in the neighborhood, hoping one day I would see you. Amara stared at him. You spent 5 years and millions of dollars looking for me? Yes. Why? The question hung in the air. Why? Why would anyone do that? Why would a successful man obsess over a girl he knew for 6 months when he was 10? Because you saw me, Elijah said simply. When I was invisible.
Want some?
When I was worthless.
Sure, thanks.
When I was dying.
Here you go.
You
Thanks
saw
a
me.
lot.
That is the greatest gift anyone ever gave me. How could I not spend my life trying to find you? Amara stood abruptly, walked to the small window, looked out at the parking lot. Elijah watched her shoulders shake. I do not deserve this, she whispered. Deserve what? This devotion, this search. I gave you a sandwich. That does not make me special. It was not just the sandwich, she turned, face wet. Then what was it? You gave me your coat. You got sick. I found out later your family was barely surviving and you still fed me. Your grandmother gave me medicine meant for your grandfather. He died 3 weeks later. Did you know that? Amara went pale. What? I did research after I got successful, looked into your family, found records. Your grandfather had emphysema. Your grandmother bought medicine for him, but she gave it to me instead. He died that winter. Amara sat down hard. I never knew. Grandma never told me. Because she knew what you would feel. Guilt. But here is what I learned. Elijah took her hand. Your family made a choice. An old man at the end
Want
versus
some?
a young boy at the
Sure,
beginning.
thanks.
They
Here you
chose
go.
life.
Thanks a
They
lot.
chose hope. That is not something to feel guilty about. That is something to honor. They sat in silence, processing, grieving, understanding. A knock on the door, Eleanor's voice. Folks, people are waiting. Amara wiped her face. We should finish the meeting. After, can we talk more, please? She nodded. Yes, I want to know everything. They stood, but before opening the door, Elijah said, one more thing. What? I told you I would marry you when I was rich. I meant it. Amara laughed, soft, sad. We were children. I know, but I still mean it. She looked at him, really looked. Saw the man he had become, but also saw the boy, the one who made promises and kept them. One step at a time, she said gently. First, let us just have dinner. Dinner, I can do that. They walked back into the meeting room. The questions continued, but Elijah barely remembered them. He answered on autopilot. Professional, competent, but his mind was somewhere else. Planning, How to convince this woman to let him back into her life. How to prove he was not
Want
just
some?
chasing a memory.
Sure, thanks.
The meeting
Here you
ended.
go.
People
Thanks a
filed
lot.
out. Many stopped to shake his hand. The story had spread. The CEO and the social worker. The sandwich and the ribbon, 22 years apart. It was the kind of story people wanted to believe in. Eleanor approached as they gathered their things. Mr. Carter, Miss Hayes, that was quite a revelation. I'm sorry for disrupting your meeting, Elijah said. Do not be. This community has seen a lot of pain. Tonight we saw something beautiful. Hope. That matters more than any agenda. She left them alone. Elijah turned to Amara. Can I give you a ride home? She hesitated. I usually take the bus. Please, it is late. Okay. They walked to his Mercedes. Amara stopped when she saw it. This is yours? Yes. Elijah, I take the bus because I cannot afford a car, and you drive this. He heard it, the fear underneath, the gap between them. I would trade this car and everything I own for another day at that fence, he said quietly. Money does not make me better than you. It makes me luckier. That is all. She got in. They drove through Chicago in comfortable silence. Amara gave directions to a modest apartment building. 4
Want
stories,
some?
brick,
Sure, thanks.
working-class
Here you
neighborhood.
go. Thanks a lot.
Elijah pulled up front. This is it. Home. Can I see you again? Soon? Yes, but Elijah. She turned to face him. I need you to understand something. My life is very different from yours. I make $38,000 a year. I have student loans. I live in a 1-bedroom with a roommate. If you are looking for the girl from your memory, she grew up poor and stayed poor. I am not looking for someone rich. I am looking for someone who sees people. You still do that. I can tell. How can you tell? The way you spoke at that meeting, about vulnerable populations, about your clients, you still care. That is all I need to know. Amara smiled, small but real. Okay, dinner, this week. Friday? Friday. She got out, turned back. Elijah, thank you for not forgetting. Never. He watched her walk inside, waited until her light came on, then sat in his car, hands on the steering wheel, and breathed. 22 years. He found her. Now he just had to convince her he was worth keeping. 3 days later, Elijah stood outside an upscale restaurant in downtown Chicago. Friday night, 7 p.m. He wore a simple
Want some?
suit, not the
Sure,
expensive
thanks.
one,
Here you
and he
go.
held a
Thanks
bouquet
a
of
lot.
daisies, not roses. Daisies, because 22 years ago, Amara had mentioned she liked simple flowers. Wildflowers, things that grew without permission. She arrived at 7 on the dot, took the bus, wore a black dress, the only nice dress she owned, he would learn later. She saw the daisies and her eyes filled. You remembered. I remember everything you ever told me. Dinner was at a small Italian place, private corner, candles, simple but elegant. Amara was uncomfortable at first. This was too much, too fancy, but Elijah kept the conversation light, asked about her work, her life, her dreams. She told him about becoming a social worker, how she saw kids in the system every day who reminded her of him. Foster kids aging out with nowhere to go, teenagers sleeping in cars or on couches, the system failing them over and over. I try to help, she said, but there are so many, and the resources are so limited. I feel like I am bailing water on the Titanic. Then we build more boats, Elijah said. She laughed. It is not that simple. Why not? Because it takes money and political will and
Want
coordination.
some? Sure,
Things
thanks.
that do not happen.
Here you go. Thanks a
What if
lot.
they did? Amara looked at him. What do you mean? I mean, what if someone funded a real program, comprehensive support for youth aging out, housing, education, job training, mental health, everything. That would cost millions. I have millions. She put her fork down. Elijah, just think about it. If money was not an issue, what would you build? And she told him. For the next hour, Amara described her dream program. Transitional housing in safe neighborhoods, partnerships with colleges and trade schools, job placement with companies who understood these kids, trauma-informed therapy, life skills coaching, a whole support system that did not abandon them at 18. Elijah listened, asked questions, took mental notes, After dinner, he said, "Can I show you something?" "What?" "A place. It is important." They took his car to Millennium Park, late evening, nearly empty. Winter lights sparkled. Elijah led her to a specific bench overlooking the city. "I need to tell you something," he said. They sat. Chicago stretched before them. Millions of lights, endless possibility. Elijah pulled out his phone,
Want
showed
some?
her a photo,
Sure,
a young
thanks.
man,
Here you
18,
go.
gaunt,
Thanks a lot.
sitting on this exact bench, wearing ragged clothes, dead eyes, but on his wrist, clearly visible, a red ribbon. "That is you," Amara whispered. "6 months after I aged out, I had the car, but sometimes I could not afford gas. So I would come here, sit on this bench, look at the city, all those buildings, all those successful people, and I would touch this ribbon and make myself a promise." "What promise?" "That I would make something of myself, that I would find you, that I would prove your kindness was not wasted." He swiped to the next photo, a map of Chicago, 12 red pins clustered in South Chicago. "These are my properties, all within 2 miles of Lincoln Elementary. I bought them over 5 years. People thought I was crazy. My business partner kept asking why. I never told him. I just kept buying, developing, spending time there. Because I knew if you were still in Chicago, you would be in that neighborhood, helping people." Amara stared at the map. "You really did search for me. Every day, every decision, every deal. I asked myself, would Amara be proud of this? Would this honor what she taught me?" She turned to him, tears on her
Want
face.
some? Sure,
"You did all
thanks.
that
Here
for
you
me.
go. Thanks a
Not just
lot.
for you, because of you. There is a difference, Burns." They sat close, not touching but almost, the space between them charged with possibility. "I told you I would marry you when I was rich," Elijah said quietly. "But I realize now I was wrong." Amara's face fell slightly. "Oh, I was wrong because I was already rich. The day you saw me through that fence. Rich is not about money. It is about being seen, being valued, mattering to someone. You made me rich at 10 years old. Everything after was just catching up to what you already gave me." She started crying again. Seemed like all they did was cry. But these were good tears, healing tears. "I do not know if I am in love with you yet," Amara said honestly. "I do not know if you are in love with me or with the memory of a 9-year-old girl. Fair. But I want to find out. That is all I am asking." They kissed, gentle, tentative, 22 years in the making. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "One step at a time," Amar said. "One step at a time." 2 weeks passed. They saw each other 4 times, officially calling them meetings, discussing the community
Want some?
center, the
Sure,
development
thanks.
plans,
Here
the
you go.
proposal.
Thanks a lot.
But really they were dates. Coffee that lasted 3 hours, lunch that turned into dinner, late night phone calls about nothing and everything. Elijah learned about her life, the struggles, the eviction notice 2 years ago, the student loans and collections, the careful budgeting just to survive, but also the joy, the fulfillment in her work, the kids she saved, the family she kept together. Amara learned about his loneliness, the empty penthouse, the business success that felt hollow, the years spent searching for something he could not name, until he could name it, until he named her. On the 15th day, Elijah called her to his office. "I need to show you something," he said. She arrived at noon, took the elevator to the 47th floor. The receptionist led her to a conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows. Chicago sprawled below. Elijah waited inside. "Hi," she said. "Hi, sit, please." She sat. He dimmed the lights, pulled up a presentation on the large screen. Title slide, "The Red Ribbon Initiative." Amara's breath caught. "You have been describing your dream program," Elijah said. "I have been listening and building." He clicked through slides. Comprehensive support for youth aging out of foster care.
Want some?
Ages
Sure,
16 to
thanks.
25.
Here you go.
Everything
Thanks a
she had
lot.
described over dinner. Housing, education, job training, mental health services, legal aid, life skills coaching. Budget, $10 million. First year. Goal, 100 youth served. Scale to 500 within 3 years. Partnership with 12 Chicago companies for job placement and internships. "This is what you talked about," Amara said, voice shaking. Everything I said. Yes. But it is real. You actually built this. I am building it. With you. Next slide, staff structure. Executive director needed. Someone who understands these kids. Someone who has earned their trust. Someone who will fight for them. Elijah looked at her. The program needs you. What? He handed her a folder. Job offer inside. Executive director of the Red Ribbon Initiative. Salary $120,000 per year. Full benefits. Staff of 10. Complete operational control. Amara stared at the numbers. More than triple her current salary. Life-changing money. I cannot, she whispered. Why not? Because I do not have the qualifications. I
Want
never
some?
ran something this
Sure,
big.
thanks. Here
I
you
will
go.
fail.
Thanks a lot.
Elijah sat beside her. You have something better than qualifications. You have lived it. You know exactly what these kids need because you gave it to me. Experience beats credentials every time. What if I mess up? Then we learn and try again. But Amara, you will not fail. You are the most qualified person I know. Not because of degrees. Because you care. Because you see these kids as humans, not statistics. She looked at the offer, the salary, the opportunity, the chance to actually build something that worked. I have conditions, she said. Name them. First, I hire from the communities we serve, staff who have been through the system, people who get it. Done. Second, advisory boards made of former foster youth. Real power, not token representation. Absolutely. Third, I keep working 1 day a week at the community center, so I never forget why we are doing this. We will write it into your contract. And fourth, she looked at him. This is separate from us. Whatever happens between you and me personally, the program stands. I need a contract, legal protections. This cannot be contingent on our relationship. Elijah smiled. I
Want
already have
some?
my lawyers drafted
Sure,
that
thanks.
way.
Here you
You
go.
will have full
Thanks a
legal
lot.
protection. This is your program. I just provide funding and support. Amara stared at the contract, at the opportunity, at the chance to save hundreds of kids like the boy she fed through a fence. Let me think about it, she said. This is huge. Take all the time you need. But 3 days later, she called. Yes, I will do it. Let us save some kids. The board meeting was scheduled for the following Tuesday. Elijah knew it would be difficult. The board was already skeptical about South Chicago. Now he wanted to fund a $10 million program. He arrived early, prepared his presentation, rehearsed his arguments. This mattered too much to fail. The board filed in, 12 members. Trevor looked supportive but nervous. And then Jessica walked in, cold, calculating, took her seat directly across from him. Good morning, and Elijah said. Thank you for making time. I want to present a new initiative. He pulled up the slides, explained the Red Ribbon Initiative, the need, the structure, the expected outcomes, spoke passionately about foster youth aging out. The staggering statistics: 80% homeless within a year, 70% unemployed, 60% incarcerated within 5 years.
Want some?
This
Sure,
program
thanks.
changes those
Here you
numbers,
go.
Elijah said.
Thanks a lot.
Comprehensive support, real resources, proven model. A board member raised his hand. What is the financial return? This is not about financial return. It is about social return. Carter Development is not a charity. We answer to investors. Jessica leaned forward. I have concerns about the executive director choice. Here it comes, Elijah thought. Amara Hayes, Jessica continued. Has she been fully vetted, background checked, financial audit? She is qualified, Elijah said evenly. I am sure. But for a $120,000 position overseeing $10 million, the board should review her credentials. I move to require full background check before approval. Trevor shifted uncomfortably. Jessica, that seems excessive. When does it? We are talking about significant resources, company liability. We should do our due diligence. The board murmured. Some agreed. Elijah's jaw clenched. Fine, he said. Run your background check. You will find Amara Hayes is exactly who she says she is. Jessica smiled. I am sure we will. The vote was tabled pending the background investigation.
Want some?
Elijah
Sure,
left
thanks.
the boardroom furious.
Here you go.
Trevor
Thanks a
caught him in
lot.
the hallway. What is Jessica doing? Trevor asked. Being Jessica. She has it out for this program. And for you. I know. Be careful, Elijah. She owns 40% now. She can make things difficult. Elijah knew Trevor was right, but he had not survived the streets by backing down. If Jessica wanted a fight, he would give her one. The program launched despite the board drama. 25 youth showed up for the initial intake interviews. Amara spent a week meeting with each one, learning their stories, building trust. One kid stood out. Darius Washington, 16 years old, parents died in a car accident when he was 12, foster care for 4 years, aged out at 16, been on the streets for 4 months. But there was a complication. Darius was undocumented, brought to the United States as an infant by his parents. No legal status. And immigration had just found out. They are processing deportation, Darius told Amara, voice shaking. They want to send me to Guatemala. I have never even been there. I do not speak Spanish. This is my home. Amara brought Elijah into the meeting. We have to help him, she said. Elijah looked at Darius, saw himself,
Want
a
some?
kid abandoned by the
Sure,
system,
thanks.
thrown
Here you
away.
go. Thanks a
We
lot.
will fight this, Elijah said. I will get you the best immigration lawyers. We will find a way. Darius started crying. Why? Why would you help me? Because someone helped me once, when everyone else walked away. But helping Darius meant taking on immigration, meant publicity, meant risk. And Jessica noticed. 2 days later, she called an emergency board meeting. Elijah is involving the company in an immigration case, she announced, creating legal liability, negative press exposure. This is reckless. Helping a kid is not reckless, Elijah shot back. Helping an undocumented minor facing deportation absolutely creates liability. Then I will absorb the liability personally. You cannot separate yourself from the company. Your actions reflect on us. The argument escalated. Trevor tried to mediate. Other board members took sides. By the end, Jessica forced a vote. Emergency measure to restrict Elijah's authority to make decisions involving legal risk without board approval. The vote, 7-5. Jessica won. Elijah was furious, humiliated, but not deterred. He would help Darius with or without board approval. Some things mattered more than corporate politics.
Want some?
That evening,
Sure, thanks. Here you go.
boss.
Thanks a lot.
Trevor found him in his office. I need to tell you something, Trevor said quietly. About Jessica. What? I had someone look into her background. Why she really joined the board. Trevor handed him a folder. She is buying properties near yours through a shell company. Elijah opened the folder. Property records, deeds, a company called Urban Futures LLC. She is positioning to buy your South Chicago properties if you are forced to sell, Trevor continued. Estimated profit, $15 million. So this whole thing, the opposition, the background check on Amara, it is about forcing me out. Yes, and Elijah, there is more. Trevor pulled out another document. She ordered a full investigation on Amara Hayes, not just standard background check. Deep dive, financial records, criminal history, past relationships, everything. Elijah's blood ran cold. When? Report came back yesterday. I have not seen it, but she has it. That night, Elijah could not sleep. What would they find? Everyone had something. Mistakes, bad decisions, things they regretted. Amara was human. She had lived a hard life. There had to be something
Want
Jessica
some?
could use.
Sure,
He
thanks.
was right.
Here you go.
The next evening,
Thanks
there was
a
a
lot.
knock on his penthouse door. 9 p.m. He was not expecting anyone. He opened it. Jessica stood there, holding a folder. We need to talk, she said. She did not wait for permission. Walked past him into his home, set the folder on his kitchen counter. Your executive director, Amara Hayes, I had her investigated. You should read this. Get out. Elijah, I am trying to help you. You are trying to destroy me and her. I know about Urban Futures, your property scheme. This is about money. Jessica did not deny it. Yes, it is partially about money, but it is also about protecting you from making a massive mistake. She opened the folder, pulled out documents. Amara Hayes arrested at 19. Charge, theft, $2,000 stolen from her employer. Elijah's stomach dropped. Charges were dropped. Record expunged. But it happened. Jessica pulled out more papers. Also, she dated someone 5 years ago, Marcus Chen. Relationship ended badly. He filed a restraining order, claimed she was obsessive, unstable, would not let go. That could be anything, out of context.
Want some?
Could be,
Sure,
but
thanks.
combined with
Here you
financial
go.
troubles,
Thanks a lot.
student loans in default, eviction on her record. Elijah, this woman is using you. That is not true. Is it not? Poor social worker reconnects with rich CEO she fed as a child, gets offered a six-figure job? How convenient. She did not know who I was until the meeting. Or she is a very good actress. Jessica stepped closer. I tried to love you. You chose a ghost over me. Now that ghost is real and she is not what you remember. Wake up. She left the folder and walked out. Elijah stood alone in his penthouse, staring at the papers. His hands shook. This could not be real, but the documents looked official. Arrest record, court filing, financial records. He should talk to Amara, hear her side. But doubt crept in. The poisonous kind, the kind that ruins everything. He picked up his phone, put it down, picked it up again. Finally, he texted her. Can we talk? Tonight? She replied immediately. Of course, I will come over. 30 minutes later, she arrived at his penthouse, saw his face, knew something was wrong. What happened? He showed her the folder.
Want
Amara
some?
went pale.
Sure, thanks.
Where did you get this?
Here you go. Thanks
Jessica
a lot.
had you investigated. She picked up the arrest record. Read it. Her hands trembled. It is true, she whispered. I was arrested. Elijah's heart sank. Part of him hoped it was a lie, a fabrication. Tell me what happened, he said quietly. Amara sat on his couch, looked at her hands. I was 19, working at a restaurant. My grandmother needed surgery, $2,000 copay. We did not have it. She was in pain, every day, crying. I could not stand it. She looked up at him, eyes wet. So I took money from the register, planned to pay it back. I was going to work extra shifts, return every penny, but the owner found out before I could. He was going to press charges. I was terrified. But then his wife met my grandmother, talked to her, learned about the surgery. They dropped the charges. Let me pay it back over 2 years, every penny, but it is on my record, expunged but not erased. And Marcus Chen, we dated for 8 months. He was controlling, possessive. When I tried to break up, he would not accept it. Showed up at my work, my apartment, my grandmother's house. I had to file a restraining order. He counterfiled out of spite.
Want some?
Said I was the
Sure,
obsessive
thanks.
one.
Here you
The
go.
court dismissed
Thanks a lot.
his. Granted mine, but both filings exist in the record. She stood, facing him. I should have told you. I was scared. Scared you would see me as damaged, as someone who could not be trusted with your program, with your money, with you. Amara. Jessica is right. I made mistakes. I have been desperate. I have been broken. I am not the perfect angel from your memory. She grabbed her coat. I will resign. You can find someone better. Elijah stood. Wait. She stopped. Back to him. When I was 10, he said quietly, I was desperate too. I stole food from trash cans, slept in doorways, did things I am not proud of. You did not see a criminal. You saw a hungry kid. He walked to her, turned her around. You stole to save your grandmother. That is not a crime. That is love. And Marcus, I believe you. I see how you are. You are loyal, not obsessive. There is a difference. You still trust me? I trust the person who gave me her coat and got pneumonia. That person does not change. Amara collapsed into him. Crying, he held
Want
her.
some?
Jessica wants
Sure,
to destroy
thanks.
this.
Here you
She
go.
said into his
Thanks
chest.
a lot.
Destroy us. She will keep attacking. Let her try. I am not walking away, not from you, not from the program, not from any of it. But even as he said it, Elijah knew this was just the beginning. Jessica had money, power, influence, and she would not stop until she won. The next day, he called his own investigator. Jessica Harmon, I want everything, financial records, property holdings, past scandals, everything. What am I looking for? Why she really wants my South Chicago properties, and what she is willing to do to get them. 3 days later, the report came back. Elijah read it in his office. Trevor sat across from him. Jessica Lynn, Elijah read, changed her name to Jessica Harmon 8 years ago after a scandal. Worked at an investment firm, accused of insider trading, never prosecuted but forced to resign. She pitched the South Chicago project to me 4 years ago. I rejected it, said I had other priorities. He looked at Trevor. She thinks I rejected her idea because of Amara, because I was too busy searching. That is part of it, but there is more. Trevor pointed to another section. She has been quietly accumulating distressed properties around
Want
yours.
some?
If you
Sure,
fail and are
thanks.
forced to sell
Here you
cheap,
go.
she
Thanks
buys,
a lot.
flips for profit. We are talking $20 to $30 million upside for her. Elijah closed the folder. So she is willing to destroy a program that helps kids, willing to attack Amara, all for money. Yes. Then we expose her. The board meeting the following week was tense. Elijah had called it special session, mandatory attendance. Jessica walked in confident, smiling. She thought she had won. Elijah stood at the head of the table. Thank you all for coming. I want to address some concerns about the Red Ribbon Initiative and about conflicts of interest. He pulled up a presentation, started with Urban Futures, our LLC, showed the property purchases, the shell company, Jessica's involvement. Jessica Harmon has a financial interest in seeing South Chicago fail. She profits from our failure. That is a conflict of interest. Jessica's face hardened. This is business, perfectly legal. Is it legal to sabotage a charitable program for personal gain? I am not sabotaging anything. I am protecting shareholder value. By attacking my executive director, running smear campaigns, the room was silent.
Want some?
Board members looked
Sure,
uncomfortable.
thanks. Here you go.
Trevor spoke
Thanks a
up.
lot.
Jessica, is this true, the property purchases? Yes, it is my money, my investment strategy. But you sit on this board, you vote on South Chicago projects. That is a clear conflict. The chairman cleared his throat. I have to agree. This is highly inappropriate. Motion to remove Jessica Harmon from the board pending ethics review. You cannot do this, Jessica said, cold fury in her voice. Vote, the chairman said. 11 hands raised. Only Jessica voted no. Motion passes. Miss Harmon, you are removed from this board effective immediately. Jessica stood slowly, gathered her things, but before leaving, she looked at Elijah. You think you won, but Amara, she is still using you. One day you will see it, and when you do, remember I tried to warn you. She left. The room exhaled. Now, the chairman said, about the Red Ribbon Initiative, I move to approve full funding and Miss Hayes as executive director. All in favor? 7 hands, 5 against, but 7 was enough. The program was approved. Elijah left the boardroom exhausted but victorious. He called Amara.
Want some?
It is done. You are
Sure,
officially
thanks.
executive
Here
director.
you go. Thanks
The
a lot.
program is real. She started crying on the phone. We are going to save so many kids. We are. That evening they celebrated quietly. Dinner at her apartment. Nothing fancy, just the two of them. Talking about the future, about the kids they would help, about what came next. Elijah's phone rang at 9 p.m. Unknown number. He almost ignored it, but something made him answer. Mr. Carter? A young voice, terrified. It is Darius. Darius, what is wrong? Immigration officers came today. To the center. They have my deportation order. I have 24 hours. They are sending me tomorrow. What? No, we were fighting that. The appeal was denied. I am out of time. Mr. Carter, I have nowhere to go. If they send me to Guatemala, I will die. I do not know anyone there. Please, help me. Elijah looked at Amara. Her face had gone white. She heard. We will fix this, Elijah said. I promise. Do not go anywhere. Stay at the center. I am coming. He hung up, looked at Amara. We have 24 hours to stop a deportation. Can we do it? I do not know, but we have to try. They grabbed their
Want
coats,
some?
rushed out
Sure,
into the
thanks.
Chicago night,
Here you go.
racing against
Thanks
time,
a lot.
against a system designed to fail kids like Darius, against impossible odds. But they had something the system did not. They had each other. They had resources. They had determination. And they had learned from a ribbon tied 22 years ago, that sometimes one person caring is enough to change everything. The question was whether it would be enough this time. 24 hours. The clock was ticking. Midnight, Elijah's car cut through empty Chicago streets, Amara beside him, both silent, focused. Darius had 24 hours before deportation. 24 hours to save a 16-year-old boy from being sent to a country he had never known. They arrived at the community center. Darius sat in a back room, face in his hands. Eleanor Price sat with him. She looked up when they entered. Relief and fear mixed in her expression. "Thank God you came." Elijah knelt in front of Darius. "Look at me." The boy looked up, eyes red, terrified. "We are going to fight this, I promise." "How? They already decided. The order is final." "Nothing is final until it happens. I am making calls tonight. We will find a way." Amara sat beside Darius, took his hand. When Elijah makes a promise,
Want some?
he keeps it.
Sure, thanks.
Always.
Here you
They
go.
stayed with
Thanks
Darius
a
until
lot.
2 a.m., made sure he was safe, had food, was not alone. Then Elijah drove them both to his penthouse. Sleep was impossible, but they tried anyway. Amara on the couch, Elijah pacing his office, making lists, strategies, options. At 6 a.m., he called his lawyer, David Chen, the best immigration attorney in Chicago. "I need a miracle," Elijah said. 16-year-old, deportation order, 24 hours, what can we do? David was quiet for a moment. "Emergency stay, motion for special immigrant juvenile status. It is a long shot, but possible. I need to see the file. I will have it to you in an hour." "Elijah, even if we file, the judge has to grant a hearing today. That almost never happens. Make it happen. Please. I will try." By 8 a.m., they had assembled a team, David and 2 associate attorneys, an immigration advocate, a social worker who specialized in unaccompanied minors. Everyone met at David's office, reviewed Darius's case, built arguments. The motion was filed at 9:15 a.m. Emergency petition for stay of deportation. Request for immediate hearing. Now they
Want
waited.
some?
At 11
Sure,
a.m.,
thanks.
David's phone
Here you
rang.
go.
He listened,
Thanks a lot.
said thank you, hung up. "We have a hearing, 2 p.m. today. Judge Maria Rodriguez. She is tough but fair." Elijah exhaled. First hurdle cleared. They spent the next 2 hours preparing. David drilled Elijah on what to say, what not to say, how to present himself. This was Darius's one chance. They could not afford mistakes. At 1:30 p.m., they arrived at the federal courthouse. Darius met them there, wearing his only nice shirt, scared but trying to be brave. Amara walked with him, holding his hand, whispering encouragement. The courtroom was small, cold, fluorescent lights, metal chairs. Immigration court was not designed for comfort. It was designed for processing, for removal, for sending people away. Judge Rodriguez entered at 2 p.m. sharp, 50 years old, Latina, no-nonsense expression. She reviewed the file quickly. "This is a motion for emergency stay of deportation and petition for special immigrant juvenile status. Correct?" "Yes, Your Honor," David said, standing. Darius Washington faces deportation tomorrow to Guatemala, a country he has never known. He was brought to the United
Want
States
some?
at 6 months old.
Sure, thanks.
He
Here
is
you go.
functionally American.
Thanks a lot.
The law does not recognize functionally American counsel. He is undocumented. "We understand, Your Honor, but he qualifies for SOSWJS. He is under 18. He has been abused, neglected, and abandoned by his parents. His parents are deceased, which constitutes abandonment under the statute. He cannot reunify with them. He faces substantial harm if returned to Guatemala. He has no family there, no connections, no support system." The government attorney stood. "Your Honor, the respondent had years to pursue this avenue. He only files now, hours before removal. This is a delay tactic." "Your Honor," David countered, "Darius was in foster care until 6 months ago. He had no legal representation. No one explained his options. The moment he connected with proper advocates, we moved immediately." Judge Rodriguez looked at Darius. "Young man, stand up." Darius stood, shaking. "Why should I grant this stay?" Darius looked at David. David nodded slightly. They had practiced this. "Your Honor," Darius said, voice trembling, I do not remember Guatemala. I only know Chicago. I speak English. I go to school
Want
here.
some?
I have people who
Sure,
care about
thanks.
me.
Here you
If you
go.
send me
Thanks a
there,
lot.
I will have nothing. No family, no language, no safety. I am 16, please. I just want a chance. The judge's expression did not change. Sit down. She reviewed the file again. Everyone waited. The silence stretched. Finally, she looked up. I am granting a 90-day stay. Mr. Washington, you have 90 days to pursue your SCSEJS petition properly. If you fail to appear for any hearing, if you violate any conditions, this stay is revoked immediately. Understood? Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Do not thank me, thank your attorneys. They did good work today, but this is only temporary. You still have to prove your case. The gavel came down, but the real battle had just begun. The 90 days moved like water through fingers, fast and relentless. David Chen worked 18-hour days building the permanent case. He assembled a mountain of evidence, school records showing Darius's academic progress, letters from 8 teachers describing his character and potential, testimony from Amara documenting his integration into the community, medical records proving he had suffered abuse in multiple foster placements. Most critically, David gathered evidence about
Want
Guatemala,
some?
reports
Sure,
from
thanks.
human rights
Here you go.
organizations,
Thanks a lot.
statistics on violence against unaccompanied minors, proof that Darius spoke no Spanish, had no family connections, no support network. Deportation would be a death sentence. The permanent hearing was scheduled for day 87. Elijah marked each day on his calendar. Felt the pressure building. Darius tried to stay calm, but the fear was visible. He barely slept. Lost weight. Jumped at sudden sounds. What if she says no, Darius asked the night before. What if 90 days is all I get? Then we appeal, Elijah said, and we keep fighting. But she is going to say yes. The case is too strong. The courtroom on day 87 was the same. Same fluorescent lights, same metal chairs, same Judge Rodriguez. But the energy was different. This was final. No more extensions, no more delays. The government attorney barely fought, went through the motions, asked a few procedural questions, but the evidence was overwhelming. Even he seemed to recognize it. Judge Rodriguez reviewed the file for 40 minutes, the longest 40 minutes of Darius's life. He sat between Elijah and Amara, hands clasped, praying to a God he was not sure he believed in.
Want some?
Finally, the judge looked
Sure,
up,
thanks.
removed
Here
her
you
reading
go.
glasses,
Thanks a lot.
made eye contact with Darius. Mr. Washington, please stand. He stood, legs shaking. I have reviewed your petition for special immigrant juvenile status thoroughly. I have considered the evidence presented, the testimony, the documentation, and I have reached a decision. She paused. The silence was crushing. Your case is one of the most compelling I have seen. You were brought to this country as an infant. Through no fault of your own, you grew up undocumented. The system failed you repeatedly. Foster care, immigration enforcement. No child should endure what you have endured. Darius could not breathe. Returning you to Guatemala would constitute extreme hardship. You have no ties there, no family, no resources. You would be an unaccompanied minor in a dangerous country where you do not speak the language. That is not justice. That is cruelty. The judge leaned forward. Therefore, I am granting your petition. You are hereby authorized to remain in the United States under special immigrant juvenile status. You may pursue permanent residency and eventually citizenship. Mr. Washington, you are home. Legally,
Want some?
permanently.
Sure, thanks.
Congratulations.
Here you go.
The
Thanks a
gavel
lot.
came down. Darius collapsed. His legs simply gave out. Elijah caught him before he hit the floor, held him as he sobbed. Amara wrapped her arms around both of them, all three crying in the middle of a federal courtroom. You are safe, Elijah whispered. Finally, truly safe. David Chen stood to the side, wiping his own eyes. In 20 years practicing immigration law, he had never felt a victory this complete. They walked out of the courthouse into bright afternoon sun. Darius started crying. Relief, fear, everything at once. Amara hugged him. Elijah shook David's hand. 90 days, we can work with that. We can, but Elijah, this is not over. We have to build a comprehensive case. Documentation, witnesses, evidence of hardship. It is going to take work, whatever it takes. Media had gathered outside. Somehow word had spread. Local news, cameras, reporters, they swarmed. Mr. Carter, you fought immigration for this teenager. Why? Elijah looked at the camera, thought about his answer, then spoke from the heart. Because the system failed me too when I was his age. I was homeless, starving.
Want some?
One
Sure,
person
thanks.
saved my life by
Here
caring.
you go. Thanks a lot.
Today, I am returning that favor. Darius deserves a chance. Every kid does. The clip went viral within hours. CEO fights deportation. Homeless boy becomes millionaire. Saves teenager. The story had everything. Drama, redemption, hope. By evening, it had spread nationally. CNN, MSNBC, Fox. Everyone covered it. The phones at Carter Development did not stop ringing. Interview requests, media appearances, people wanting to help. But Elijah ignored it all. He sat with Amara in his office, exhausted, relieved, grateful. We bought him time, Amara said. Time is all we needed. She leaned against him. You know what this means? The program. It is real now. We saved our first kid. Elijah smiled. 90 days, then we save him permanently. 6 months passed like water through fingers. The Red Ribbon Initiative grew beyond anything Elijah imagined. That initial group of 25 youth became 50, then 75, then 127. Each one with a story. Each one fighting to survive.
Want some?
Jasmine
Sure,
Brooks,
thanks.
17,
Here you go.
had been
Thanks
living
a
in her
lot.
car after escaping an abusive foster home. The program gave her housing, therapy, support. She finished high school, top of her class, got a full scholarship to community college. She wanted to study social work. Be like Miss Amara, she said. Tyler Washington, 16. Parents died in a car crash. Depression nearly killed him. Elijah met with Tyler personally, shared his own story, the homelessness, the despair, the ribbon that saved him. Tyler started therapy, went back to school. 6 months later, he was smiling again. Said he wanted to study business, be like Mr. Carter, Marcus, 15, Malik, 17, Sarah, 14. More names, more stories, each one proof that the program worked. The retention rate was 89%. National average for similar programs was 40%. 67 participants enrolled in education or job training. 45 had stable housing. 0 returned to homelessness. 0. Jessica Harmon did not vanish quietly. 2 months after her removal from the board, she struck back with a lawsuit. Claimed Elijah had misused company resources for
Want
personal
some?
gain.
Sure,
The Red
thanks.
Ribbon Initiative,
Here
her
you
lawyers
go.
argued,
Thanks a
was a
lot.
vanity project funded with shareholder money to impress a woman. The case dragged for 3 months, cost Elijah $200,000 in legal fees, but his attorneys demolished every claim. They showed the program was separately funded from his personal wealth, proved every dollar was accounted for and properly allocated, demonstrated that the social return exceeded any financial measure. The judge dismissed the case with prejudice, ordered Jessica to pay Elijah's legal fees. Her Urban Futures properties sat on the market for 8 months, unsold. She had overpaid dramatically, banking on Elijah's failure and a fire sale. But he had not failed. The South Chicago market strengthened. Her properties lost value. Conservative estimates put her losses at $4 million. Someone saw her at O'Hare 6 months later, boarding a flight to New York. She had taken a consulting position with a hedge fund, quiet work, anonymous, far from Chicago. Elijah heard the news and felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication, just indifference. He had spent too many years looking backward. Now he only looked forward, to Amara, to the kids, to the work that mattered. Jessica was a footnote in someone else's story.
Want
The
some?
ribbon was the story
Sure,
that would
thanks.
endure.
Here you
Media
go.
attention
Thanks a
exploded
lot.
after the Darius case. NBC Chicago did a feature, The Promise That Changed a Community. They told the whole story. 9-year-old Amara feeding 10-year-old Elijah. The ribbon, 22 years apart. The search, the reunion, the program. Social media erupted. Hashtag Red Ribbon started trending. People tied red ribbons on their wrists, committed to help one person in need. The challenge went viral. Celebrities participated. Athletes, musicians, actors. Within 3 months, $2 million had been raised for foster care programs nationwide. Within 6 months, 15 other cities launched their own versions. Milwaukee, Detroit, Indianapolis, Phoenix, Dallas. The movement had become bigger than them. CNN did an interview. Elijah and Amara together. You two make quite a team, the reporter said. Is it all business? They looked at each other, smiled. We are partners, Amara said, in every sense. Meaning, Elijah took her hand, meaning she saved me 22 years ago. Now we save others together. And personally? Personally, Elijah said, looking at Amara, I am working on convincing her to marry me. Amara laughed.
Want
Blushed.
some?
The
Sure,
interview went
thanks.
viral too.
Here you go.
Proposals
Thanks a
flooded in
lot.
from other cities, from organizations, from government agencies. The model worked. People wanted to replicate it. Elijah and Amara spent days in meetings, planning, strategizing, scaling. But through it all, they made time for each other. Friday dinners became tradition, sometimes fancy restaurants, sometimes pizza on her couch. Did not matter. What mattered was showing up, being present, building something real. One Friday evening, 6 months after the program launched, Elijah picked Amara up for dinner. But instead of driving to a restaurant, he drove to Millennium Park. Where are we going? You will see. He parked, led her to the bench, their bench, where he had shown her the photo of his 18-year-old self. Why are we here? Because this is where I made a promise to myself. 22 years ago, sitting on this bench, touching your ribbon, I promised I would make something of myself, find you, prove your kindness mattered. He turned to face her, took both her hands. I kept that promise. I found you. I built something, but I realized now I was chasing the wrong thing. Amara's breath caught. I thought if I got rich enough, successful enough, I could be worthy of you. But I had it
Want
backwards.
some?
You made me
Sure,
worthy
thanks.
at 10 years old.
Here you go.
By
Thanks a
seeing
lot.
me, by caring. Everything after was just me catching up to what you already gave me. He pulled a small box from his pocket, opened it. Inside, a ring. Red ruby, the color of the ribbon. Amara Hayes. I told you I would marry you when I was rich, but I was already rich. The day you pushed that sandwich through the fence. Rich is not about money. It is about being seen, being valued, mattering to someone. Tears streamed down her face. You made me rich at 10 years old, and I have loved you ever since. So I am asking now, not because I owe you, but because you are the best person I have ever known. Will you marry me? Amara was crying, laughing, nodding. Yes, 1,000 times yes. He slipped the ring on her finger. They kissed, deep, 22 years in the making. When they pulled apart, both were smiling through tears. I cannot believe this is real, Amara whispered. Believe it. We earned this. They sat on the bench, her head on his shoulder, his arm around her. Chicago glittered before them. Millions of lights, endless possibility.
Want some?
When? Amara asked.
Sure, thanks.
When what?
Here you go.
When do
Thanks
you
a
want to
lot.
get married? Elijah smiled. As soon as possible. Tomorrow, if you want. She laughed. Give me at least 6 months to plan. Deal. 1 year later, Lincoln Elementary School looked different. The fence was still there, but now it was clean, repainted. A bronze plaque had been installed. Simple words. Where kindness began. 2002. Red ribbons decorated everything. Tied to the fence, hanging from trees. Woven into archways. 100 chairs set up on the playground. Guests arrived. Program participants. Community members. Grandma Ruth in a wheelchair. Eleanor Price. Trevor Morrison. David Chen. People whose lives had been touched by the ribbon. 30 minutes before the ceremony, Amara found her grandmother alone in a side room. Ruth sat in her wheelchair by a window, 85 years old, fragile, but her eyes were still sharp, still full of love. Amara closed the door, knelt beside the wheelchair, took her grandmother's weathered hands. Grandma, I need to talk to you about something. What is it, baby? Elijah told me. About the medicine, about Grandpa Joe. Ruth's
Want
face
some?
changed, the light
Sure,
dimmed.
thanks.
Oh.
Here you go. Thanks
You
a
gave
lot.
Elijah the medicine that was meant for Grandpa. And 3 weeks later, Grandpa died. Tears filled the old woman's eyes. Real tears. The kind that came from carrying a secret for 23 years. I never wanted you to know. Did not want you carrying that weight. Why did you do it? Ruth was quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke, voice soft but steady. Your grandpa was 84 years old. His lungs were done. Emphysema. He could barely breathe even with the medicine. The doctors said he had maybe 6 months, maybe less. He was ready to go, had made his peace. She squeezed Amara's hand. But that boy outside the fence, 10 years old, dying of pneumonia, whole life ahead of him. I had one bottle of medicine, had to choose. Old man at the end of his journey or young boy at the beginning. Did Grandpa know? Yes, we talked about it. I showed him the boy through the window, told him what you had been doing, feeding him every day, sacrificing your own lunch, your coat, your warmth. Your grandpa looked at that boy, and he said something I will never forget. Ruth's voice broke. He said, give the medicine to the child. I have lived enough. Let
Want
me do
some?
one good thing
Sure,
before I
thanks.
leave this world.
Here you go. Thanks a
Amara
lot.
started crying, deep sobs. 23 years of not knowing, of thinking her family just barely survived, never understanding the full cost. Grandma, I am so sorry. No, Ruth gripped her hands fiercely, stronger than seemed possible. No sorrow, no regret. Look at what came from that choice. She gestured toward the window, toward the playground filling with people. Former homeless youth in nice clothes. Success stories. Living proof. One bottle of medicine, 127 children saved, 15,000 across the country. Your grandpa's last act created all of this. He would be so proud, not sorry. Never sorry. Amara collapsed against her grandmother. They held each other, crying, grieving a man who died 23 years ago, celebrating the legacy he left behind. Thank you, Amara whispered, for teaching me to choose life. You did not need teaching, baby. You were born knowing. That is your gift. They stayed like that until someone knocked. Time for the ceremony. Ruth wiped her eyes, straightened her dress, looked at her granddaughter. Now go marry
Want
that
some?
boy, the
Sure,
one my
thanks.
husband helped
Here
save.
you go.
Make
Thanks
him
a lot.
family. Amara smiled through tears. I will. Elijah stood at the fence, right where he had sat 22 years ago, starving, dying. He wore a simple black suit, red ribbon pinned to his lapel. His hands shook slightly, not from fear, from joy. Music started, acoustic guitar, a song about hope. Amara appeared at the edge of the playground, wearing a simple white dress, natural hair adorned with red ribbons. Grandma Ruth beside her in the wheelchair. Eleanor pushing. They walked slowly toward the fence, toward Elijah, toward the place where everything began. When they reached him, Grandma Ruth looked up, 85 years old, thin, weak, but her eyes were bright. You take care of my baby, she whispered to Elijah. With my life, he promised. The ceremony was simple. A community pastor officiated. He told the story, the fence, the sandwich, the ribbon, the promise, 23 years of separation, the reunion, the program, the legacy. Then Elijah and Amara faced each other, hands joined, ready to speak vows. Elijah went first.
Want some?
Amara, when I was
Sure,
10 and
thanks.
dying,
Here
you
you
gave me a
go.
sandwich,
Thanks a
but
lot.
you gave me so much more. You gave me dignity, value, hope. You saw me when I was invisible. That gift changed everything. His voice caught, he breathed, continued. I promise to spend my life being worthy of that gift, to see others the way you saw me, to protect those who cannot protect themselves, to love you with everything I am, and to never forget where I came from, because you will always be right here. He touched his heart. Amara's turn, tears already falling. Elijah, when I was 9, I gave you my lunch. I did not know it would change my life. Did not know you would become this man, this protector, this force for good. She smiled through tears. You taught me that kindness multiplies, that one small act creates infinite ripples. I promise to keep choosing kindness, to choose you every day for the rest of my life, to show up the way you showed up for Darius, for Jasmine, for Tyler, for every child who needs us, and to love you forever. The pastor smiled. By the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife.
Want some?
Elijah, kiss your
Sure,
bride.
thanks.
They
Here you
kissed.
go.
The crowd
Thanks a lot.
erupted, cheering, clapping, crying. 100 people celebrating love, celebrating survival, celebrating the fact that sometimes broken things heal and promises are kept. The reception was at the Amara Hayes Center. Yes, they had renamed it, despite her protests. The building was beautiful now, renovated, expanded, state-of-the-art, but still welcoming, still home. Darius gave the toast. He had won his immigration case, been granted legal status, was thriving. Mr. Carter and Miss Amara taught me something, Darius said, voice strong, confident. Family is not who you are born to. It is who shows up when everyone else walks away. They showed up for me, for all of us, and we will spend our lives showing up for others. That is the ribbon way. People cheered, clinked glasses. As the sun set, Elijah and Amara slipped away, walked to the fence. Just the two of them. They tied fresh red ribbons to the metal. For the next kid, Elijah said, there is always a next kid. They stood in comfortable silence, then footsteps behind them, small, hesitant. They turned. A little girl stood there, 8 years old, black,
Want some?
thin,
Sure,
worn
thanks.
clothes,
Here you
alone.
go. Thanks a
She
lot.
looked scared but determined. Excuse me, she said quietly. Elijah and Amara looked at each other. The moment froze. Time collapsing. History repeating. Hi, sweetheart, Amara said, kneeling. What is your name? Sarah, I am hungry. Do you have any food? Amara's breath caught. Elijah's eyes filled. The exact moment, 23 years later. Full circle. Yes, Amara said gently. We have lots of food. Come with us. She held out her hand. Sarah took it. Elijah pulled a red ribbon from his pocket. Always carried them now. Tied it around Sarah's wrist. Sarah, this ribbon means something. It means someone believes in you. Keep it. One day when you are bigger and stronger, give it to someone else who needs hope. Sarah looked at the ribbon, then at them. Why are you helping me? Amara opened her locket, showed Sarah the ribbon inside. Because someone once helped him, she said, pointing to Elijah, and he never forgot. Now we help you. One day you will help someone else. That is how it works. Sarah smiled, small but real. I will, I promise. They walked Sarah inside, fed her, called social services, made sure she was safe.
Want some?
Started her intake into
Sure,
the program.
thanks. Here you
By
go.
midnight, Sarah
Thanks
was
a lot.
placed in emergency foster care. Good people, vetted, safe. But she would be in the program. They would monitor, protect, guide. Elijah and Amara stood in the parking lot, wedding over, first day of marriage, already saving another kid. This is our life now, Amara said. I would not want it any other way. They drove to Elijah's penthouse. Their penthouse now, exhausted, happy, complete. In his office, Elijah opened the drawer, the glass frame with the original ribbon. He looked at it, then at his wife, then back at the ribbon. You know what I realized, he said. What? That ribbon saved thousands of people. You gave it to one boy, but that boy built something, and that something touched 127 kids. Who will touch hundreds more? Your ribbon created an infinite chain. Amara wrapped her arms around him from behind. Our ribbon, our chain, our legacy. They stood together, looking at the faded red fabric. So small, so simple, so powerful. Outside, Chicago sparkled. Inside the Amara Hayes Center, 127 youth slept safely. Across the
Want
country,
some?
67
Sure,
cities
thanks.
now had red
Here you
ribbon
go.
programs.
Thanks a lot.
15,000 youth served. Countless lives changed. All because a 9-year-old girl made a choice. To see, to care, to share. 5 years later, Sarah graduated high school. She became a teacher. And on her first day, she saw a boy sitting outside the school, alone, hungry, scared. She walked over, pushed her lunch through the fence. Hi, I'm Sarah. You look hungry. The boy ate, cried, thanked her. She pulled a red ribbon from her pocket, tied it around his wrist. Keep this. It means someone believes in you. The cycle continued, would always continue, because kindness does not end. It multiplies. spreads, becomes infinite. One sandwich, one ribbon, one choice, changed everything. The end was just another beginning. And somewhere, watching it all unfold, Elijah and Amara Carter knew they had kept their promise. Not just to each other, but to every child who needed saving. The ribbon was waiting. It always would be.